Accused of shooting and killing a woman and her unborn child faced a judge today. The victim's family said that unborn baby was a little boy. Channel 2's Candace McCowan live now in Covington, where the judge, Candace, denied bond today for that suspect.
Yeah, and George, he will remain behind bars. That's the least of what this family wants of him. That's what they told.
On January 25th, 2026, at 2:30 in the morning, a 22-year-old college student named Teonia Stokes was shot and killed inside a home in Monroe, Georgia. But here's what makes this even more devastating. Teonia wasn't just any college student. She was 7 months pregnant with a baby boy. She had a 2-year-old daughter waiting for her at home. And in just a few months, she was supposed to walk across that stage and graduate with her teaching degree. Instead, 2 days after her death, her family spent what should have been her 23rd birthday planning her funeral. If this case bothers you as much as it bothers me, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to Shadow Crime, and click that bell icon so you never miss an update on cases like this. Because Teonia's story deserves to be heard. Now let me tell you who Teonia really was. Because she wasn't just a headline. She wasn't just another statistic. This was a real person with real dreams. Teonia, or T as her family called her, was one of 4 siblings from Social Circle, Georgia. By all accounts, she was the kind of person everyone could count on. Loving, dependable, the type of daughter, sister, and mother who showed up for people in her life. She was a senior at Kennesaw State University, working as a student teacher, and she was so close to finishing. May 2026. That was supposed to be her graduation month. She'd worked so hard to get there, balancing motherhood with school, making sure her 2-year-old daughter Cambry had everything she needed while still pushing toward her own future. And speaking of Cambry, Teonia was intentional about everything when it came to her kids. Her sister Jada mentioned that Cambry's name starts with AK, and Teonia was thinking about giving her unborn son a name that also started with K, so they'd match. That's the kind of detail that shows you what kind of mother she was. Thoughtful, caring, already planning for a future she'd never get to see. She was 7 months pregnant. 7 months. Her baby boy was due in April. She was so close to holding him, to seeing Cambry become a big sister, to finally having her little family complete. But that future was ripped away in the early hours of January 25th. So what happened that night? What was Teonia doing at 112 GW Carver Drive in Monroe at 2:30 in the morning? That's where things get murky. And honestly, that's what makes this case so frustrating. When officers arrived at the scene, they found 2 people shot. Teonia was already gone. She died right there. Her unborn baby boy died with her. The second victim, a 25-year-old man named Curdarious Williams, was also shot, but he survived. He was rushed to a nearby hospital and treated for his injuries.
Accused of shooting and killing a woman and her unborn child faced a judge today. The victim's family said that unborn baby was a little boy. Channel 2's Candace McCowan live now in Covington, where the judge, Candace, denied bond today for that suspect.
Yeah, and George, he will remain behind bars. That's the least of what this family wants of him. That's what they told me inside of this Covington funeral home today. They promised to fight for their sister and for that unborn baby boy.
She didn't know what school system, but I was trying to get her in Newton County where I was and in the school where I was.
That's the conversation Demecia Parks had on a continuous basis with her younger sister, Teonia Stokes. Set to graduate from Kennesaw State in May, Teonia was excited to teach.
She wanted to be an elementary school teacher. I know preferably 2nd grade.
But the plans for a bright future stopped in its tracks Sunday. Teonia, just 23, was shot and killed in Monroe along GW Carver Drive Sunday morning. 7 months pregnant, her unborn baby boy also died.
And I just would have hugged her longer before walking out the door if I knew that was going to be my last time seeing her.
The suspect, Dorreous Brooks, is charged with killing Teonia and her unborn child. Teonia's boyfriend, Curdarious Williams, was also shot. The family says she was an innocent bystander, caught in a feud.
I just know that my sister was innocent and she didn't deserve this.
Teonia was the mother of a 2-year-old little girl who family says doesn't understand her mother is now gone. But they understand the gravity of this loss and they want justice.
Put them away. Kill them. Inject them. Death for death, I say.
You don't know what you've done. Like, you've broken a family.
And no word on how that man who was shot, how he's doing. The family tells me that he was the father of that unborn baby. As for the suspect, he's due back in court in March. Live here in Covington, I'm Candace McCowan for Channel 2 Action.
But here's where this gets even more complicated. Who shot them? And more importantly, why? The police move fast. Within 2 days, they had their suspect, a 36-year-old man named Dorreous Brooks. They issued an arrest warrant for him on January 27th, charging him with felony murder and feticide. That feticide charge is specifically for the death of Teonia's unborn son. The police even put out a warning that Brooks was armed and dangerous, offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. Now think about that timeline for a second. January 25th, Teonia is killed. January 27th, 2 days later, police already have warrants out for Brooks. That tells us they knew pretty quickly who they were looking for. So the question becomes, what connected Dorreous Brooks to this scene? What was his relationship to Teonia? To Curdarious Williams? And this is where the case takes a turn that honestly makes it even more tragic. According to Teonia's family, she was an innocent bystander. Let that sink in for a moment. An innocent bystander caught in the middle of a feud. She wasn't the target. She wasn't involved in whatever dispute was going on. She was just there in the wrong place at the worst possible time, and it cost her everything. It cost her daughter a mother. It cost her unborn son his life before he even got to take his first breath. But what feud? The family mentioned it, but nobody's saying what it was about or who else was involved. Was it between Brooks and Curdarious Williams? Was there some ongoing beef that Teonia got caught in the crossfire of? We don't know. The police haven't released those details, and maybe they're holding that information close because the case is still being built. What we do know is that there was a massive manhunt for Brooks. This wasn't just Monroe police looking for him. The Newton County Sheriff's Office got involved, Covington Police, Rockdale County Sheriff's Office, even Walton and Barrow County Sheriff's offices pitched in. That's a lot of resources for one man, which tells you how seriously they were taking this. And they got him. Brooks was arrested on Tuesday, January 28th. The next day, Monday, he appeared before a judge, and bond was denied. He's not going anywhere. He's sitting in jail right now, waiting for his next court date in March. But while Brooks sits in a cell, Teonia's family is living through absolute hell. Her mother was so overwhelmed with grief while making funeral arrangements that she had to be hospitalized. Can you even imagine? Your daughter is murdered. Your unborn grandson is gone, and you're trying to plan a funeral when you should be planning a baby shower and a graduation party. The emotional weight of that is unthinkable. January 27th should have been a celebration. It was Teonia's birthday. She should have turned 23, surrounded by family, probably with her daughter Cambry climbing all over her, maybe talking about baby names for her son. Instead, her family spent that day at funeral homes, picking out caskets, writing obituaries, trying to figure out how to say goodbye to someone who should have had decades of life ahead of her.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. We begin tonight with breaking news. Just hours ago, authorities arresting the man accused of killing a pregnant woman in Monroe. Dorreous Brooks was taken into custody in Barrow County. Sheriff Judd Smith telling our Cody Alcorn he'll be taken to Walton County to now face murder charges. According to Monroe police, Brooks shot Teonia Stokes on Sunday, and Stokes was pregnant with a baby boy and leaves behind a 2-year-old daughter. Family members say she was a student teaching in Gwinnett County and was set to graduate in May from Kennesaw State. Tonight, only here on 11 Alive, her family is speaking out on what would have been her 23rd birthday.
11 Alive's Cody Alcorn live right now in Monroe. So, Cody, you were invited to a vigil earlier this afternoon, right?
That's right, Ron and Jennifer. It was over in Social Circle, Teonia's hometown, which is about 17 miles from Monroe here in Walton County. Now, one person you will notice missing is Teonia's mother. Today at the funeral home, the heartbreak was too much, and she has since been hospitalized.
She was, she was full of hope.
She was full of life. She was full of promise, and all she wanted on this earth was to be loved.
Teonia Stokes,
Such a sweet person.
a daughter,
We ain't got her here in body, but in soul and spirit, she's still with us.
a sister,
She was always there for each one of us.
and a mother.
She was proud of a girl that she already got, and we're gonna miss her. And
T, as her family calls her, was expecting a baby boy in April.
No, she didn't have a name, and that's what we were talking about. Like, what name should we come up with? I know she did want the name to start with a K, because her little girl, Cambry, starts with a K.
On January 25th, T was shot along GW Carver Drive in Monroe.
My sister didn't deserve this.
Killed just 2 days before her birthday.
So we were making funeral arrangements on her birthday. On her birthday.
On Tuesday, instead of celebrating with T, her family held a vigil to honor 2 lives taken too soon,
She lit up the room everywhere she went.
including the classroom. T was just months away from getting her teaching degree at Kennesaw State.
The world didn't get a chance to see what she was going to offer. She loved children. The kids that she left behind at Decula Elementary, I know they're devastated.
This family also obviously devastated, and to show you how far her impact reached, even people from the bank where Teonia banked at reached out to me during this whole process and said she lit up every time she came through the drive-thru. Live in Monroe, Cody Alcorn, 11 Alive News.
Man, our hearts go out to that family. Cody, thank you.
The family held a vigil at Friendship Park in Social Circle. They came together to honor not just Teonia, but also her unborn son. 2 lives gone in an instant, and now little Cambry, who's only 2 years old, has to grow up without her mother. She's too young to understand right now what happened, but one day she's going to ask questions. She's going to want to know about her mom, about the brothers she never got to meet, about why they were taken from her. And here's what really gets me about this case. We still don't have clear answers about so many things. Why was Teonia at that house at 2:30 in the morning? What was her connection to Curdarious Williams, the other victim who survived? Did she know Dorreous Brooks? Or was she truly just in the wrong place at the wrong time like her family says? What was this feud about that apparently cost her life? Brooks is scheduled to return to court in March, and maybe that's when we'll get some of these answers. Maybe prosecutors will lay out their case, and we'll finally understand what led to this senseless tragedy. But even when we get those answers, even when we know the full story, it won't bring Teonia back. It won't give Cambry her mother. It won't let Teonia hold her son or walk across that graduation stage. This case really makes you think about how fragile life is, doesn't it? Teonia was doing everything right. She was in school, working toward her degree, raising her daughter, preparing for her son. She had plans. She had dreams. And in one moment, all of that was erased. Not because of anything she did, but because she was somewhere she shouldn't have been, caught up in something that had nothing to do with her. So let me ask you this. When someone is killed as an innocent bystander in someone else's conflict, who's really responsible? Just the person who pulled the trigger? Or everyone involved in the feud that created the situation in the first place? And what about the people who knew there was ongoing beef, but didn't do anything to resolve it before it escalated to violence? Where does accountability really begin and end? Here's another question that haunts me. Teonia's family says she was innocent, caught in the middle. But why was she there? I'm not blaming her at all. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to understand. Was she visiting someone? Was she dropping something off? Did someone ask her to come over? Understanding that might help us understand how to prevent tragedies like this from happening to other innocent people. And what about Curdarious Williams, the survivor? He lived through this. He was there. He knows exactly what happened. What's his story? Was he the intended target? Was he part of this feud? The police haven't said much about his role in all this, but his testimony is probably going to be crucial when this case goes to trial. If this case has affected you, if Teonia's story matters to you, then stay connected with Shadow Crime. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell and drop a comment below telling me what you think about this case. Share this video so more people know Teonia's name and remember her story, because she deserves to be remembered as more than just a victim. She was a mother, a student, a daughter, a sister, and she had her whole life ahead of her. Justice for Teonia means getting answers. It means making sure Dorreous Brooks is held accountable. And it means never forgetting the 2 lives lost that night in Monroe, Georgia.